we're doing this. We are here.
I guess we're doing
We are
this.
doing this. First episode in the room. Welcome. Where culture meets Hollywood. Uh, you want to introduce so they know who they talking to?
Well, I'm Ali Leroy. People probably know me from my work on Everybody Hates Chris and some other stuff. And I'm a director. I'm a writer. I'm a photographer. I play a little bass. I collect a little art. I'm multifaceted, right? I wouldn't necessarily call me a triple threat, but I may be a quadruple instigator.
I love it. And I'm Elisa Murray. People may not know me, and that's completely fine. I'm an actress. I'm a producer. I'm a creative executive. Been working with Ali for a long time, and we're two people that have been in a lot of rooms. We've seen a lot of stuff get made, a lot of stuff not get made, and I just felt like there was no real place where we're talking about what's actually happening for Black people in this industry. It's a lot of people talking about the industry, giving their opinions on it. It's a lot of people talking about everything else, but there's really not a space for us, and so I just thought we should create one.
The internet, the online space, and I would dare say our community at large is just so negative.
Very.
So I just kind of want to carve out a space where we can, talk about how to be in this, you know, and not lose yourself in the process, not get lost in the sauce, as they say, and all these things. So I've been doing this for a long time, and I look up one day and I realize I've actually had a fairly sound, stable, and probably by most people's accounts, successful career, and I didn't have me to talk to. I didn't have me to tell me anything. And I mean, I've had my friends and peers and, associates and all that, and we've exchanged, experiences and information over time. But I actually have genuinely never had a true mentor in this business. I had to figure this shit out all by myself.
Like free mentorship for the viewers. You come here, you get the tea, you get the real.
A little bit. I ain't telling you what to do, but for me,
Telling you what not to do.
I want to inform people how they might think about things, right? I don't know what you're supposed to do, but I do know sometimes that people don't always, they don't even know how to formulate a different perspective. They don't have anything to base a different perspective on because they've never been in that room. They don't know what happened. They don't know how people talk about it. They don't know what's important to folks, right? So all they're left to do is try and make sense out of what came out of the room,
Yeah.
but never getting any full understanding of how people came to that conclusion. So that's what this is about for me.
Yeah, you have a lot of people that have ideas. They don't know what else to do with them. Why it's not going in to the next place. And so I feel like we can maybe give them a little bit of insight on that, and just insight on what's going on in general in this industry for the best of our ability, because none of us really know.
Right.
We don't know what's going on either, y'all.
Right. I don't know if I'm going to help, but I'm not here to hurt.
We figuring it out as we go. But
Right.
just a quick check-in before we dive into this podcast today. How was your weekend? What's going on with you?
Listen, man. I gotta tell the truth. Like right now, it's a very difficult time because you're in show business and you're trying to come up with with comedy or stories or whatever it is, and outside the door is these fucking Gestapo tactics out there. I'm sitting here researching how closely is what's happening in the streets similar to what happened in, pre-World War II Germany. Like that's the shit I'm looking up. Now I could, and it's a heavy weight, to try to be optimistic and to be creative and to forge ahead when so much around you feels like it's kind of falling apart. So I spent a lot of time watching a lot of Black movies over the weekend. A lot of them. I saw Biker Boys. I watched Cornbread Earl and Me. I'm just not, honestly, like it's just looking for something that feels closer
so
to
good.
an embrace.
Is it more
right?
so like a escape from everything? Like you don't know what the orange one is going to do. He's going to bomb something. He's going to do whatever. So is this like an escape for you?
And no, it's not an escape. It's like it's like a hot cup of tea, right? You slow down for a second. You get it in your hand. and you just kind of, relax and you watch, and you kind of let your thoughts go for a second. And it's not about, you don't always don't have to have this fight in your spirit about what's going on out there. Sometimes you just kind of, need to chill for a second, sit back, make an assessment, and go, how am I going to move? What am I going to do next? Sometimes I have to get out of getting shit off my chest,
Yeah.
right? I'm going to sit down on Substack and start typing. I'm mad, right? But I don't want to be mad like
What
that.
is that going to do? I mean, some people are choosing to ignore it. Some people are choosing to dive in. I'm choosing to just be above it because it's too much.
Well, I always like to quote my man, Stevie. And he says, yes, that's the one. Just make sure, he says, just make sure when you say you're in it, but not of it, you're not helping to make this earth a place sometimes called hell.
So that's Stevie Wonder.
That's Stevie Wonder.
Make sure we get the right Stevie. Get the right.
You can't separate yourself from what's going on, right? And so, some people think that, I can step away from this, that ain't got nothing to do with me, this ain't my fight, and parts of that are genuinely true. But the other part of it is whether it is protests in the street about, whatever our civil practices and our policies and our politics are, or whether it's about standing up in a creative space and just fighting for what your idea is and your vision for how you want to be represented, right? You can't just take your ball and go home. Sometimes you got to get in there. You got to tough the shit out. You got to have some arguments. You got to have some fights. You got to stand your ground. You're not always going to be right. But we do need to understand not just that we want to be heard, but we also need to have some sort of way to communicate what we need to have heard, right? Yeah, that's what I learned from talking to black women. You got to watch how you say some shit, right? Because people got to be able to take it in. Right. And so whether you're on the creative side and you need the business to listen to you, or whether you're on the business side and you want the creative to listen to you, one thing that you got to try and do is speak their language,
I got you. Let me stop you before you go on a tangent there, because we are going to dive into the business. Because Allie likes.
Yeah, listen.
Gotta reel him in before this turns into like.
I know, reel me in, because Captain Tangent is at it again.
My weekend. Since you weren't going to ask, I had a great weekend too. Goddamn.
How are you doing, Elisa?
So I actually I've been raw vegan for the last 7 days.
Really?
Yes, no food cooked. Straight veggies, fruits, and seeds. And I thought I was going to be struggling because I love food. I love my crab legs. I just came off of Christmas dinner where I cooked for everybody, mac and cheese, all the time.
Right. I'm assuming none of that was raw and none of it was vegan.
None of it was raw, none of it was vegan. So
everything had a face and it was hot.
It was great. But I was like, I need a break. I ate a whole ham. I ate a whole sweet potato pie by myself. I went crazy. So I'm like, okay, let me try it. And surprisingly, the food has been good. Like, I'm a good cook. But I'm shocked, actually. Like, I've made, vegan pad thai. I've made spring rolls. I've made rasta pasta, vegan pesto pasta. A mix between the salads and the fruit bowls and stuff like that. But everything has been really, really good. Like, to the point where I thought I was going to be struggling to make it to 7 days. I'm like, I think I could do a full 14, maybe 21.
Okay.
We're going to see. But that's what's going on. I feel energized. I feel great. I feel like I'm getting skinny. So that's been my week, figuring out vegan recipes and experimenting in the kitchen.
Hey man, don't even count the days. Like, I work out 3-4 times a week. I don't weigh myself anymore.
No, you can't.
I don't weigh myself. I don't take pictures of my food. None of that. I go to the gym. My trainer works me out. He gets me tired. I sweat. I call him names sometimes, and every time he increases the intensity, it's my own fault because I'm getting better at it. And I'm just like I heard Arnold Schwarzenegger recently. He was talking about just excellence in bodybuilding, and he's like, it's not programs. He's like, it's routine. That's not a direct quote, but that's the crux of it. It's got to be part of your life.
Yeah, just starting this new thing. So I will not probably be raw vegan because I cannot give up crab legs, but I will probably do this thing where if I go out to eat, I'll have a couple of days where I'm raw vegan or whatever. Yeah. If I, indulge on a holiday, and that'll be like my new norm. And I feel like that'll be my balance. But also this weekend, we had the Golden Globes, aka
we did. There was the Golden Globes,
as Snoop Dogg calls it. I know you didn't watch. I did watch for the both of us.
You did.
It was interesting, you know.
Surprises? Anything that you were like, oh man, I didn't expect that?
I mean, I thought, it's your typical award show. Like you had your host, you had your jokes, whatever. Everyone, if I was drinking right now, if I took a shot every time someone said, "Oh, this is so heavy," I would have been very drunk by the end of that thing. But
Could we just do the podcast like that, where you just drink and then just tell us what you think?
not this week, not on raw vegan.
Like I'm raw vegan and alcohol. Yeah. That's all.
I don't feel like that mixes. But like winners recap, we had motion picture drama Hamnet, best actress drama Jessica Buckley for Hamnet, best actor drama Wagner Moore, Secret Agent, which I haven't seen. I have to look into. Best actress musical comedy Rose Byrne, If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, best actor musical comedy Timothy Chalamet, Marty Supreme, and some other winner highlights The Pit, best drama series, the studio best comedy series, Adolescence won a lot, best limited series, and multiple acting wins. Now let's talk about what we actually care about.
Okay, hey, that's what I'm here for. What do we care about?
What do we care
I'm gonna
about?
start with you. So what did you see that you liked?
So is it just me? So I want to talk about Sinners first because I care about Sinners, and I thought Sinners was an amazing movie, highlight movie of the summer. So is it just me, or of all the nominations that Sinners won, I'm talking about best motion picture, best director, best performance, male actor, best screenplay, the ones that they won to me feel like participation awards. They won box office achievement, which is essentially, a lot of people came to see your movie.
Well, that's and I'm gonna say immediately, that's not a win. That's just a statistic,
basically.
Right? Hey, you made the most money. Here's a prize. It's like, well, the prize was the most money.
It's like there's nothing in that says this was a great movie. Now, it did win for best original score, which it should have. But everything else, is there anything else we felt it should have won for? To me, I feel like best motion picture.
Listen, I'm coming at it from a different perspective. And first, I think the existence of the film is a win of gigantic proportions.
Hands down.
Right? How the fuck did he pitch that? I mean, I know he sat down and he wrote and he was like, okay, the 1923 and Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan, that's great. But he's going to be twins.
Twice.
Right. It's like, oh, wow, okay, that's interesting. What else? He's also a vampire. A vampire? Wait a minute, what? And there's Chinese people, right? and there's an Irish guy. Wait, what? And there's some Klan members and an Indian. Right. I'm just like, his creative achievement in even putting that together is substantial.
The exclusivity of it, the storytelling,
So I mean, you can wait on a win here, a win there, a win there. But like I said, that has never stopped Adam Sandler from doing anything, right? Whatever his wins are in terms of his comedy films, and then as he segued, as an actor into more dramatic works, and just the breadth of things that he's found to express on screen. The reward is being able to do that and being able to be taken seriously and being good at it. And yeah, it's nice to be recognized. It really is. And also, fuck that.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't think for us being people of color, people focusing on Black stories, or in this case, this is beyond a Black story. This was an inclusive all of color story. You cannot be waiting on this sort of acclaim, because you will be waiting forever. And then at some point, maybe they'll give you some random award for some random thing that they did because they feel bad that they've snubbed you for so many times. But people were very upset. People were upset they felt the Sinners were snubbed. They felt that Michael B. Jordan should have won for Best Actor. You had a lot of people talking about he's acting twice. He was playing two people. You had a lot of people talking about wanting the script to win and things like that. I do feel like if something could have gone to them, screenplay would have been great. Best motion picture would have been great. I don't know about performance.
Listen. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be doing this from time to time. So when people watch and they get annoyed at me cutting you off, let them know that.
Oh yeah, he cuts me off. He's a man.
Is that what it is? Is it because I'm a man, or just because I have thoughts bursting out of my head?
I mean,
okay, but all right. I'm a man.
Can't help yourselves.
I'm a man, and that's why you're here. You're here to mitigate and I won't. I try not to mansplain and all that, but that I don't know how to explain otherwise. So, but I don't. I think that it again is fantastic to be recognized, and the casual viewer has to understand that you're being recognized inside a construct, right? And that construct serves not just the singular creative achievement, it also serves the arc of a career. And when did you not get recognized for another thing, right? When Denzel Washington won his Best Actor award for Training Day, I dare say, not that it wasn't a brilliant role, but he didn't win for Training Day. He won because he didn't win for Malcolm X. Why didn't he win for Malcolm X? Well, he lost to Al Pacino. And why didn't Al Pacino win? Well, because Al Pacino lost for The Godfather. He lost for The Godfather Part 2. He lost for Dog Day Afternoon. He lost for Serpico. And at that point in his career, turning in this bravado performance, they're looking to go, I don't know if he's going to do this again.
Right.
He might not. I'm not sure. But, this is a good time to just, give him this and get this out of the way. And that's no snub to Al Pacino
No, that's
at
so
all.
true. I have this vision of these people in a dark room moving actors around like pawns on the chessboard. Like, okay, can this be
Yes.
here? He gets this. Okay, he can wait a couple years. She's young, and it really is just that. And a lot of times we do take these awards so personally, especially as Black people, because every time we win, it's Black History Month. It's the first.
Yeah, right, that too. And people say a lot of things about, like, I think that Jordan's performance was really brilliant. And nuanced and layered and all of these things. But that's harder to see and that's harder to interpret than Timothy Chalamet, with this bravado performance of this out of control, egotistical, high wire, right? That's a lot easier to see.
Right.
And so the dynamics of what makes a good performance, can sometimes be, it's weighty in the sense that, like I say, it's big and it's demonstrative and it may be incredibly technically skilled and all of that. But, tell that to Miles Davis, who goes, I'm going to just play these two notes, and that's going to be the whole song, and then y'all do some stuff. Right? So there's something to be said for restraint. There's something to be said for nuance. There's something to be said for interiority. And all of those things you can say don't necessarily add up to what the business proposition is of Timothy Chalamet winning, to the career trajectory, not just in terms of him, but in terms of what his place is in the studio system. He's been a star of a few big movies, and Michael B. Jordan is on the way there. This is really his first footprint as a lead. As a lead, this is his first big role.
I did not think that this was his time, right? So I didn't view the snub in terms of that category because I don't feel like this was his time. I think he'll get another shot, and this will be another one in his belt of nominations on the way to the big one. I
thought J-Lo got snubbed 3 or 4 or 5 years ago when she did Hustlers. That's what I thought. I thought J-Lo got snubbed.
Did you?
Sure.
Okay. I don't
Well, because you listen, and I'm just putting it in perspective.
Selena, so this was her shot.
Well, at that point in her career, with the films that she had done and the nature of the stories and the success and all of that, she really turned in an amazing, and great performance, and that would have been a good time. And I don't remember who got the award instead of her, I don't know. But I'm just saying these things happen, and we can't always put it through this abjectly personal lens.
No, we can't. I thought if it should have won for anything, it should have been the picture itself. Right. And in direction, I thought was also a good candidate. But I do think that the person that won direction also directed an amazing film that I love. But at least the film itself, or at least the script itself, I do think was worthy of, because of the complexity, just the intricacies of it, and just how great it was.
Who won Best Screenplay this year at the Golden Globes?
Don't get me the lion. Let me see.
I posted on Threads that I wasn't going to watch the Golden Globes and I was going to watch Sinners, and that's what I did. I did not watch it, and it wasn't. I wasn't protesting or nothing. It's just, I didn't feel like it was anything for me there that was going to excite me in the way sitting down and watching that film.
Yeah, one battle after another, which I thought is a great film. I mean, that's a great segue because we loved One Battle After Another.
Yeah.
Something else I did this week, and I took an eye at that as well. and it won for quite a bit. We got best director, we got best motion picture or musical comedy, and then we also have screenplay, and then Tiana Taylor's Big Moment, which
Oh, it was like that was almost like a sweep
is
or
actress.
something.
It was
So best director. Um, Listen, I can't be mad at
a
that.
great film. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at that at all.
Listen, here's what, and one day I watched Sinners and One Battle After Another back to back,
Hmm.
right? Gave up 6 hours out of my day, and they do very very different things, right? And when I sat down to watch One Battle After Another, which I went to see 3 times in the theater, it hits the ground running.
Yeah.
Right, when that movie starts, if One Battle After Another is supposed to be, sort of a thematic engine for it, literally, when that film starts, it's gripping, and I'm right in there, and it just never stops moving,
It doesn't.
right?
The
And conversely, Sinners takes the first 40 minutes of the film to kind of do this slow build up and get you invested in all of these characters and what they care about and all of this nuance and texture, because when the shit hits the fan, it fucking hits, right? And so it has this sort of explosive, latter portion of the film that it doesn't work the same way in One Battle After Another, which actually, as it gets later in the film, deals with, I would almost say, a level of restraint. Like the car chase in One Battle After Another is stunning.
it's
Like it's a level of filmmaking that speaks of a type of technique that can only be born of watching films, studying, and having a genuine interest in the tension and the craft and the characters and all of these things. So that sequence was as amazing in its own right as the surreal montage in the middle of Sinners with the music.
Yeah, it's very different, but they make you feel very. It's like this whole idea of tension, this whole idea of pace and intensity in something that can be viewed as quiet. Because when you think of these high
So quiet.
speed crashes or speed chases, you
It's
think of a lot.
quiet.
Yeah, and this is more so like just even the setting, the hills, and everything like that. It was just very different and unusual. And I just thought that this script had so many complexities. The characters were all very interesting and dynamic. And a lot of people had a lot to say about Tiana Taylor, for example. I just want to get into her speech because I think it was an amazing speech. She won Best Supporting Actress, and
Yeah.
she dedicated her speech to the Black women. And she said, in quote, "Our softness is not a liability. Our death is not too much. Our light does not need permission to shine. We belong in every room we walk into. Our voices matter, and our dreams deserve space." Which to me hit me emotionally because yes, sometimes we do feel like we are not heard, we're not seen, we're not cared about. And I love that this character had a lot of perplexity. She had a lot of dynamics. There was a lot of stories that happened within this character, Perfidia, that to me made her well rounded. But there was so much controversy. Did you hear about a lot of people are saying that they kind of summed up her character into hypersexualized because
Yeah.
of everything going on with her relationship with Leonardo DiCaprio's character and Sean Penn's character. How did you feel looking at it? Was I know I had my thoughts when I first saw it about the sexuality because it kind of hit you across the head with it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
You being not a Black woman, like, did you even notice it at all?
Well, uh, the first time I became aware of Tiana Taylor as a talent was in that Kanye West song where she was running around, dancing and a bunch of other stuff, right? And she was sexual and she was brash and her look was something, and she was owning every bit of what that piece was. I forget what the name of the song is. I'm old. I'm going to be forgetting things. You'll have to remind me from time to time. Yeah, but it was on the Pablo record. But the video was just like really fucking incredibly dynamic. It's like, oh shit, who's this, right? And so then, I saw her in a couple of other things. 1001, that was her, right? I thought she turned in a solid performance there. She was walking like somebody was paying her money in straw. Which that walk
With
she
that
had in
big
Straw.
smile. Woo!
Teyana Taylor's walk in Straw was like so dynamic, I had to stop looking at her wig.
Now that's funny. I mean, there's very few things that Teyana Taylor does that isn't sexy. She exudes sex.
Well,
Yeah,
she
outside
can.
of that, she exudes.
I'm saying she can exude sex, right? And so twofold. One, was it hypersexual? Well, it was certainly sexualized, and in the film, we kind of understand that as part of what she may express as her power, right? She's aware of it. She uses it in a way that she wants to use it. In certain instances, she sacrifices what she wants to sacrifice of it for her own means, right? And also, she has clearly a set of ethics or a morality that is dramatically different from the other characters in the film. Regina Hall is standing right there. She's nothing like that. And what's the girl, Mad Pussy or whatever her name was, that was at the bank standing on top of the Pussy Galore? What was her name? I don't, but I'm just saying, like that's hypersexual in another way, right? So I'm just saying, and I'll try to tighten the idea up. I don't think that that's a fair way to characterize her performance, because I think that she is a solid enough performer, and she also brings a persona to the table that trades on that sort of physicality and expressiveness. So I'm not mad at her for doing what she knows how to do well.
Yeah.
That's her choice. She could say no.
My first thought when I first put it on Black Woman, I was like it's a lot of sex happening. That's my first initial thought. Maybe first like 20 minutes of the film. And then as I sat in it and I took in the space of everything else, I'm like, her sexuality is her power. She's using it as a weapon. That's cool.
Right.
She's not this weak woman that feels like her only way to get by is by laying on her back. It's not the monster ball argument of, oh, all she did was have sex in that movie. It was way more nuanced than that. Plus, you also have the delicacy of the delicate nature of also having other Black women characters in it that you can see from
Right.
perspective. So it's not like we
Jungle Pussy.
just
That was it. Jungle Pussy.
yeah, this pussy don't pop for you. Right. It's not like we just put all the Black women and sexualize all of them. This character, Perfidia, is specific because of her morality, because of her thought process, because of how she sees the world. And this is how she showcases love. And we're seeing how she's using her sexuality for love with the character with Leonardo DiCaprio. And we're seeing how she's using it as a weapon with Sean Penn's character. But also we're seeing her as a complex mother. We're seeing her as a revolutionary. We're not just seeing her. It's not like she's just spitting out sex and that's really it. And so whatever initial thought process I had when I first saw, ooh, they all up on my girl, it melted away. And so I feel like if that is what you get out of that film, then you probably got stuck in that first couple minutes and then just didn't look at everything else that was taking place.
And there's a couple other things that you have to consider. And I think that this is a real thing that Black women have to grapple with in the space of art, right? You're not always going to be the good guy. You're not always going to be of perfect morality, of clean ethnicity, that you're always able to put yourself above certain circumstances or be seen in a particular light. The beauty of art is being able to explore the things that are dangerous and provocative, and it should incite a response. The last thing I want to see is a fucking boring actress naked up on screen. It's like, why are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? It's worse to say why am I looking at this right now, right? As opposed to me going, I think this as a result of seeing that. That's what art does, and whether it, in whatever way it is provocative, I want for Black women to be able to have the choice to portray a woman that is damaged and provocative and makes bad choices, and to show up in the world, because guess what? They're out there. We know them. I got some in my family, right? And I'm seeing all of this shit. And so when you start talking about you want to see your stories, It can't always just be, the side that glamorizes you and makes you look dope or cool or queen or whatever. Sometimes the story is you made a bunch of bad decisions and you harmed a lot of people. And in the process, maybe you came to some realization about what that means. But the act of being able to portray that, I think we should have equal access to. I think the problem, and I think this is easy to cite, is that in that context where a black woman is caught in this triangle of sexuality, influence, and power with two white men, and a lot of what I have read about One Battle After Another, and what I even feel myself to some degree, is PTA explores a part of what our lives are, and ultimately he centers two white men's battles, you know, around what's happening to people of color and immigrants and all these things, and he's a white dude and he gets to do that. And also, if you're a black person and you want to write something like that, you can write it, but what becomes problematic is that that person might say, yeah, but am I going to get my movie made? Well, I don't know, but Ryan Coogler just pitched a twins vampire 1923 period piece Irish funkadelic guitar. But I don't know how the fuck he did that. So, after Barack Obama became president, you didn't get to blame it on being black anymore, right? I'm not saying it ain't unfair. I ain't saying that people don't gatekeep. I ain't saying that people don't understand. I'm not saying that some people aren't even stupid and don't know how to talk to you. I'm just saying that it's not impossible. And I don't know how much easier it was to get One Battle After Another made, as it was to get Sinners made, as it was to get, Left on Red or whatever that thing is I saw on All Black the other day. Right? I don't fucking know. But that's why we're here.
Yeah, and I mean,
to talk about that.
And it's just like, I think that when it comes to black stories, there's space for everything. We are complex people. We have complex emotions. We go through complex things. It's not just all struggle bus. It's not just all glamour. And we really need to find those stories that showcase both. What I loved about this character is, yes, there was a glamour to her. There was a sexiness to her. There was something I can emulate to. Oh, I want that body. Oh, I love that pixie cut. But at the same time, she's a revolutionary. It's someone I can look at as an action hero. It's someone who's deeply flawed. It's someone I can look at and be like, I don't know if I would have made that choice when it comes to my kid. How dare you? I felt a lot of things about that character. And that's how you should feel, because as people, when I meet people, I don't just automatically like that person. There's things about that person I don't like. There's things about the person I love. And that's how it's with characters.
You want to know my favorite black woman moment in that entire film? When, what's the girl's name? The daughter? I know Chase Infinity is the actress, Willa. After Regina Hall's character comes and scoops her up out of the high school because they're coming to get her, right? And they're driving, and that phone rings, and she just, I'm like, oh shit, that was my favorite moment in the entire movie. It's like, motherfucker, I told you.
Told you.
I asked you if you had a phone.
That movie was great. There was not one woman in that movie that I felt like was not in her strength. Every single person in that movie was in her strength and in her flaws at the same time. Yeah. It to me, it won a lot. It deserved to win a lot. I'm not mad at that movie winning. It's a great film.
Yeah. It's a good movie, and I'm happy for all of them, because the other side too is, if you're Wood Harris, if you're Regina Hall, if you're Teyana Taylor, unfortunately, we don't oftentimes get opportunities to play these nuanced or different types of characters in these rich and different sorts of circumstances and situations. So for the actor, like, that's a boon. Like, that's like, oh my God, I'm glad that this guy would call me to be in this thing, because when we see these sorts of movies, we don't have a place in them. We're not in them, or and if we are in them, we aren't realized in a way, blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on. So, there's a lot more, I think, artistic positives, out of that than there are negatives. And for the people who view it as snubbing or whatever it is, I think that that's personal, and I don't think that they necessarily mean harm by that. But I think that it's more about a desire to see something of themselves recognized and embraced on a screen, which is why I spent the weekend, watching, Cooley High and
That
the
brings me.
Five Heartbeats.
I wonder, is there space to have more than one? Like when you think about all white cast or white stories, you can have several of them winning these top awards. But usually there's one movie that features a lot of black people that gets awards. There's rarely going to be more than one. So is it possible because one battle after another came and it is a very diverse story centered around a lot of black characters or characters of color, and you also have sinners as well, that there's not space for both in this awards season. There's a lot of art that doesn't get made. There's a lot of ideas that never reach the surface, and now we're facing this whole new thing in this industry, which the industry may completely shift with this whole merger. You hear a lot of people talking about the merger now. If let's just talk about it. In this week's
Okay.
TV, we're going to talk about the script is titled Paramount versus Everybody because Paramount took his battle with Warner Bros. Discovery to court. They're filing a lawsuit in Delaware's Chancery Court. And basically, they say there's a lack of transparency. They're favoring Netflix's bid over the Warner Bros. Bid. And the CEO, Dave Ellison of Paramount, is calling out Warner Bros. For not playing fair and trying to take control of the company through like legal action. And then you also have our president who's weighing in. He doesn't want Netflix to take over for whatever reason. He doesn't feel like it's in his best interest. So you have a lot of people that have a lot of opinions, and you have a lot of people talking about it. But what I don't feel like anybody's really talking about is how does it affect me, the black person, the black actor, creator, writer, person that's in this industry that is not yet even invited to these Golden Globes and has not reached that level yet. How is this deal? How are we dealing with this? And how is this going to affect like our day to day? And is this even a good thing? This whole idea, can we even defend this idea of if Netflix take a spit? Because everyone's talking about how it is would be the worst thing ever, because it would go from the traditional studio model to more of like a data driven algorithm model. How does that leave us overall? And I mean, I think it could be interesting. It could also be really bad. I mean, when you think about black creatives, probably when this merger goes on, you're going to have fewer executives. You're obviously going to have less DEI programs. That's already what's happening. You're seeing people getting laid off left and right. And you're also looking at our culturally specific stories are being labeled as niche. So if you have a computer that's essentially saying, based off the algorithm, this is going to work and this is not going to work, what is the likelihood that these black stories are going to hit that algorithm in that data and say, yes, let's get more of that versus more of the stuff that has already been proven to be successful, the action films, the whatever, the white focused stories? Are we going to have even less opportunities to get in with this change?
Okay.
These questions seem like they're stressing you out.
Well, I'm trying to find a way to contain the idea. I have been in business with Paramount, in the past, and having dealt with some of their interior machinery and been witness to some of their development practices, and also, what some of their mandates were and who they service as a company, right? And it's hard for me to keep up with sometimes because there was the Viacom CBS split, and there's all of these entanglements.
We don't know what's going. We are literally the stepchildren of all of these. We're the products of divorce of all of these.
Right. So let me start off with what I have always sort of understood the Viacom CBS Paramount wheelhouse. So to be a black creative in that space, while your ideas can be centered around or informed by black people, they need to be understood or able to be embraced by this larger audience that they want to sell toilet paper to, right? That's always been what it is, right? Don't get fucking twisted. And they picked a lane, and they're going to continue down that lane. And with the sort of conservative bent that's happening inside that space right now, it certainly makes it more challenging,
Yeah.
right?
If we break it down by like the specific people, creative executives, they're probably going to it's going to be, it can be good and bad. Like, let's break it down. So if you're a creative executive and Netflix takes over, Netflix is probably going to take bigger swings creatively in comparison to your traditional studio model, because Netflix has the space to do that. They need a lot of content. They have a wide variety of stories and people that they need to fulfill. So you might be able to get a idea that's a little bit controversial in there. So that's good. They don't have the traditional ad models that we would have if we were with the Warner Brother model, because a lot of people that are on Netflix don't even get ads anyway, depending on what your subscription platform is. So it's not about the ad model. You also have like a faster green light process, which we like because, you know, we can sit in that green light development place. We have some projects that we have been under development for like
I know.
years. It's just like, you gonna note this to death. You didn't know that, you didn't know the fun out of the whole thing.
Greenish light.
Greenish light. So you don't have the death by note situation. And then the data itself, it does help, because now, you know, I can argue a project based off data. This works because the data says blah 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 blah, instead of, oh, I think this might be really great in my gut feeling. You can go into that pitch room with a clear cut, no, this is going to be it. So that's a good thing, because you got your receipts in your argument. And if you're an actor, you know, if I'm an actor, Netflix is global, right? So I'm not just on the network TV that's mainly in America. That's a global exposure. I'm a one hit is 190 countries. I can get an international fan base. People in Germany might be into my stories or whatever.
Right.
More leverage for future roles. And you're not blocked into this network branding. When you think of some of the content on Netflix, it doesn't have to necessarily fall into this certain look where you might have to fall into in your typical thing. And if you're a showrunner, you're probably going to get more creative control. You're not going to have as many network restrictions. You know what I mean? So you're not going to have to worry about selling commercials when you're thinking about these stories, which is how you kind of have to think as a showrunner. So, and then you have this binge model with Netflix. So when you're writing, you can develop deeper arcs because it's all about the binge. Whereas that's not necessarily how it is with writing for networks, whatever. If you're a writer, there's probably more writers' rooms. You got more opportunity to write, you know, genre bending things, but there's a faster turnaround on staffing. You know what I mean? So you might have more opportunities, but harder to get a job at the same time. So shorter seasons, you got less job security. You don't have the same job security that you had before. So it's like a hit or miss. You know, you as a producer, you're going to get more upfront fees. So we like that. You're not going to have all that back end stress. You're going to have your international distribution and your packages and everything like that. But it is still based on data. So it's all about those first week numbers. If that's not hitting, if we don't all watch it together as a culture, then we are looked at as a failure, you know, and sometimes we don't do that. And then also in a lot of Black-led projects, typical, even if you look at Netflix now, a lot of our Black-led projects don't get as much promo. You know, we're not getting the Stranger Things rollout, you know, for our stuff. So it really does have to catch on or gain some sort of social media momentum, where some word of mouth for it to catch on. And if you miss it because of the smaller ad spend and the fewer billboards, then it looks like, oh, we put out this Black thing and it didn't work, right? So it can be a hit or miss when it comes to our like niche projects. How do we make sure that with this new Netflix model, we are actually getting the benefits of it? If you are a Stranger Things type of thing, then yes, that might be a benefit to you. But if you're not, then like, how does this work?
If Netflix is in charge, the first problem you have is that they don't need to do anything. Not a thing. They could turn the lights off and go home for 6 months. There's enough television, film, content,
Already,
like we're never going to get done watching it, right? So they are not incentivized in any material way to continue this factory of producing things to get new eyeballs, because they already have the eyeballs, right?
they already have.
And so they can't scale them because they're already watching. So what are the ways in which you try and find new money? Okay, we don't allow you to share subscriptions. Okay, that's a thing, right? But now we're doing theater-worthy films on the small screen, right? And there's no premium involved in that as yet.
Yeah,
There may
live
be,
events.
right?
Now it's like live
Right.
events, and there's no cost right now, right?
So in a weird way, they're trying to find their way to activate some aspect of the engagement and the capital that came from this other model of television, but it's gone and it's not coming back. Also, when you start talking about data sets, what data sets do not do, what data sets cannot do, or at least not so far, is they don't have taste. So now, if you're just down to people who are using a data set to determine what they think people will watch, it's reflective. It's not proactive. I can only tell you what people have watched before. I can't tell you what they're going to do
They're going to
next.
like next. And I think people are interest like people are nuanced. I'm a black person. I watch Netflix. Do I sit on Netflix and watch?
You only had to say one of those things.
If you didn't notice, do I sit on Netflix and watch black stuff all day long? Do I sit on Netflix and watch black movie, black title? No, I sit on. I watch all sorts of crazy. If you saw my Netflix algorithm, I watch all. I just finished watching. I'm ashamed to say, a reality program called Members Only Palm Beach that's all about wrinkly older white women whose main focus in life is being near Trump at the Mar-a-Lago. Should not be the audience. However, I binge watched that on a weekend. Shamelessly to say. So what is this data telling you? Because I doubt that your average black person is only watching one thing. We watching all sorts of stuff on there.
But check it though, and I'm going to say this from time to time. Shout out to my friend Reggie Hudlin. He says black is not a genre, right? There are thrillers, there are horror films, there are suspense films, there are comedies, there are romances, there are action films, there are films that combine those things, right? And sometimes those films have people in them that are predominantly black, or they have black stars, or they have white stars, or they have some mixture of those things. But, when you're talking about a black movie, like, what are we talking about? Are we talking about Sorry to Bother You? Or are we talking about, Barbershop The Next Cut?
Yeah, because both are black and both are black stories and both are very different. And so
And if you took the barbershop audience and they was expecting a barbershop and then you put on Sorry to Bother You, I'm not saying they wouldn't like it. I'm saying they might be confused.
I think there's different type of black viewers. Now, is the person that watches Tyler Perry Everything the same person that would watch, a Sorry to Bother You or something like that? I don't know. Maybe.
I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to tell you why yes. Because I watched Straw, and for what it was, I did. I sat there like, all right. So Tyler's
Bring that in and
three.
shout out to you.
No, his last three movies have been interesting to me. Whatever that one with the girl named Bucket. What was that one called?
It's a lot of
Jazzman Blues. I think that was an.
I like the Jazzman Blues. I like the 666.
They had the 666, and then they had Straw. And so what those three films had in common to me was it seemed that it looks like he's, kind of finding another space, It's like he's finding another space, and that's kind of cool. But at the same time, I thought it was interesting. A lot of people compared Straw to John Q, which is Denzel Washington movie.
Yes. Or I heard that comparison. I also heard them comparing it to what, The Sixth Sense?
Well, no, the film that what was that John Boyega film? Was it called Breaking? John Boyega bank movie. I'm looking at my thing right now. Breaking. So there's a film called Breaking. Breaking, based on a true story, is virtually the exact same movie as Straw. There's a guy who goes into a bank and he is looking to get some money that he needs for his reasons, and he can't get it, and he ends up taking the bank hostage or whatever, and there's a black woman, and she's able to, talk to him for a while, and it doesn't end well. But the entire dramatic template is exactly the dramatic template that we saw in Straw, but fictionalized. And all I'm saying is I like that movie. I like Breaking. And I also, like Sorry to Bother You.
No, yes. And with what he's attempting to do, when I watched Straw, I thought, okay, I can see what you're trying to do here. There's some things that to me maybe missed the mark just a bit, but I can see the vision. I saw the vision and I saw what you're trying to do, but I think when the leaning there sometimes is too far into one idea. The idea of struggle was so predominant that we didn't get the nuances of the character, which would have made her really cool and interesting. And that's why
Yeah.
it was like, oh, this is hard to watch. It's hard for me to watch that much struggle.
Money, but let me tell you. I mean, I'm a sidebar for a second. Um, I went to see The Long Walk, and I'm assuming we'll pivot in a second. But that was based, I think, on a Stephen King novella. And I left that movie so incredibly depressed. It was like literally one of the most depressing films I had ever seen. And I saw The Human Centipede.
I had to turn that one off.
No, I'm just saying. So on the one hand, um, and I'm gonna say this. I would not have said this 10 years ago, but I will say now that Tyler Perry is as much of an artist as Ryan Coogler is, as Spike Lee is, as Gordon Parks is. The question is, what is his vernacular? Who does he speak to, how and why? And what is it he's attempting to provoke? What is he attempting to evoke? And while it is easy for us to see on the surface level that a lot of it seems, excessive, and some people call it poverty porn, and it is incredibly melodramatic, and all of those things, in some ways might ring as true. And also, the people who are responding to it feel that they are seen. They feel that they are heard. They feel that this represents some aspect of their reality that nobody else sees, knows about, gives a fuck about, or wants to talk about. And so is he the bad guy for going, even if the nature of the drama in some of these people's lives is not as heightened as what it is in that film, nor can John Wick beat the fuck out of everybody that comes within 5 feet of him with 2 guns and a sword and whatever else it is he's going to do. Sometimes we make shit up to inform some sort of idea that we have. And again, part of even why I'm interested in doing what we're doing here now is because when I was coming up, it was, move over, Spike Lee. Here comes Robert Townsend. Like, why Spike got to move? Move over, Eddie Murphy. Here comes, Keenan Wayans. Why Eddie got to move? And maybe there's not, but I'm just saying there's enough room for people to decide if there's room.
Yeah, because I want to
Don't
want this or I want that.
Well, don't tell me that somebody else got to get out of the way so that I can see the next person. Get out of the way, Beyonce. Here comes whoever.
Careful. Be careful. We
I said whoever. I don't need.
Okay.
I don't know how active the beehive is right now.
Here. You don't gotta
Yeah.
go nowhere, sweetheart. You stay right there.
I know the beehive is probably tired, and the beehive just got home from work.
We ain't never
But they can fire up that keyboard. Protect me from the beehive.
Well, yeah, with Tyler Perry, like I said, there's an audience for what he's work. He does important work. He showcases the Black culture, and Tyler Perry has enough going on. We gonna leave him alone.
When we're talking about what somebody does and why, it's easy to look for what we wish was being represented, and then criticize the work based on what's not there, as opposed to attempting to understand why what is there is. How is that supposed to be understood? How are we supposed to embrace that? Where's that coming from?
When I started looking at Tyler Perry's work as a church play brought to film, I looked at it in a completely different perspective. It's like, okay, what some people call the minstrel show, what some people call the overacting. I'm like, no, it fits perfectly within this genre that he has created. And if I look at it through the lens of the Tyler Perry genre, just like Spike Lee has an aesthetic and a certain thing that some other people would be like, why do we have to have these long drawn out scenes with the slow camera, with him walking down the street? That's his Spike Lee aesthetic. Maybe this is the Tyler Perry aesthetic. Maybe it is a little overly dramatic to some, but maybe it fits into this whole play aesthetic, which is where he started. And if I look at that, I can look at it as, oh yes, that's a brilliant filmmaker. If I look at it through Tyler Perry should have a film like Steven Spielberg, then yes, I'm going to have a list of things that are wrong. But I think
Right. I just think it becomes problematic when you view your personal engagement with the work through what I will call I'm going to say a victimization lens, but what I mean by that is that you're looking at the work and again, you're critiquing it for what it's not as opposed to diving into it for what it is. And if you dive into it for what it is, you might find something that you like and you might not. But then if it's not there, then go do something else. Because you could have gone to to that play and that could have been enough, right? Move over Tyler Perry, here comes David Talbot, right? Do they got to move or can they both make a movie? Can they both make a play? Right? Move over Shelley Garrett, here comes Tyler Perry. Why Shelley got to move? Right? So I'm just saying that a lot of times we just don't dive into the work for what it is and whatever it's attempting to express. You know, it was when Fuck the Police came out. It was, oh my God, and then, 10, 15 years goes by and you go, oh, that's what that was about.
that was, yeah.
That's why they felt like that. And I want to take this moment to just give a shout out to, every now and again I have a favorite performer in show business. And one of my favorite performers is Ice-T.
Okay, yes, we love Ice-T.
I love Ice-T. You know why I love Ice-T? Because he was fucking cop killer. And he spent the last 25 years playing a cop. and as far as I can see, I don't know Ice-T. I know a couple of people who do know him, and I just love the fact that he has turned that into one of the most long-standing, well-known, Finn, ain't that his character on the Law and Order? That man been walking in that room, calling people out, doing his thing. Where do I stand? What do I say? I'm gonna say it like this. You get a couple of takes, and I'm playing around with it, but I just love the idea that. Those are some of the things that that are available to us in this art. Those are some of the things that are available to us, and whatever is available to you is available to you. It is not for someone else. You got to do what you gonna do. You got to be how you gonna be. You got to interact how you gonna react, and whatever you get out of that is what you get. That ain't somebody else's fault, and somebody else being on didn't stop you, and somebody being off ain't gonna help you.
That part, preach. So, like, let's move on because I know we've been at this a while, and
Yeah, I know.
do want to do this whole segment of what are we watching. So, what are you watching right now? Why?
All right. So it's not a specific thing, but what I have been doing recently is I've been watching a lot of movies on YouTube. I sit in my office here and I work during the day, but sometimes I like atmosphere. I play music, but I put movies on. And why I put the YouTube movies on is because they play, they continue to play during the course.
Specifically for YouTube or just movies that are on YouTube?
No, it's if you go to the, I don't know if I got YouTube Premium or something, so I might pay $8.
You got YouTube, y'all.
Right.
YouTube don't do that.
But they have a music. I mean, they have a film and television section on YouTube, and I go there, and then they have films that you can purchase, and then they have ones that are free. And so I go to the free section, and I click around, and I find a movie that I think, oh, this is cool. Like yesterday, I put on Biker Boys. All right, let me tell you about Biker Boys for a second. This is 2003. Biker Boys, best I can remember, was sort of they were trying to take advantage of the Fast and Furious energy. So think of Biker Boys as black Fast and the Furious on motorcycles.
No bikes.
Okay. 2003. Who's in this movie? Starring Lawrence Fishburne. Co-starring Orlando Jones, Derek Luke. In the cast, a uncredited cameo by Eric LaSalle, who was big from ER at the time. Kid Rock when black people liked him.
Oh.
Uh, Sally Richardson, Sally Richardson Whitfield, um, Lisa Bonet,
Okay, who ain't it?
Megan Good,
Oh.
I don't know, fuck, Evan Ross, shit, who else? Kadeem Hardison, shit,
Okay,
Terrence Howard,
oh, so they got everybody up in here.
Jaimin Hansu.
What's the story? Is it like what is the story?
The film starts with the biker boys, and they got a couple of motorcycle gangs, and one of them is really cool. And in the first 13 minutes of the film is great. Just watch the first 15 minutes of biker boys. It's so cool. There's racing, there's choreography. They pull up on some bikes in Orlando, and Sally is right at the front, and they do some stuff with their heads, and they all regimented, like the Fruit of Islam or something. It's really cool, right? Right, but they do these motorcycle races, and in this first big motorcycle race, there's an incredible tragedy, and Derek Luke is impacted by the tragedy. So the rest of the film, Vanessa Bell Calloway is there as well. She's playing Derek Luke's mother. And so the rest of the film is this sort of father-son thing between Lawrence Fishburne and Derek Luke, and some revelations about what's happening in their family. And directed by Reggie Rock Bythewood, produced by Gina Prince Bythewood, and who else? Stephanie Elaine, I think, was one of the producers.
Powerhouse group.
It's a fucking big budget motorcycle movie. And so, when we talk about black movies, like, it was a major film.
Why have we never heard of this film?
We heard of this film. You were young. You were 4.
I ain't that young. What is it?
I was trying to help you.
What is it?
And the thing about it is, maybe we have forgotten about them, or they didn't get a lot of press or whatever it is at the time. But they're out there, and when we're looking for, the things that have informed us and just part of our culture and something to look back at, like I said, in the Netflix of it all. Do I make a new black movie? They go, hey, y'all ain't watched them other 600 black movies we made already. How about y'all take a look at those, and then maybe we'll green light a new one.
Okay, so everyone, just keep your Netflix and YouTube on and just stream black stuff so we can get more black stuff on. And that's what we gathered from this. So I'm watching, so the awards, most of the stuff I had seen, but I didn't see Pluribus, and I know it won for, the actress won for Best Actress, so it kind of made me want to go check it out, because I know I've been seeing it advertised on my Apple TV, but yeah. The advertisement didn't pull me in, because I'm like, what is this? So I'm like, let's just go. I'm on episode 2, and I don't know yet. Let's put it that way. Like, they did set up the world. It's clearly this whole thing of this biological agent has taken over the world from potentially outer space, and now everybody has a shared consciousness, and everyone feels the same. I basically have your thoughts, you have my thoughts, and it's affecting everybody in the world except maybe 11 people. One of them is this woman, and she cannot handle it. And every time she is emotional or angry, it literally affects everybody else because they have a shared consciousness. And every time she gets mad at one of these pod people, she calls them, 11 million people die because they all freeze up, and it's a lot going on. It sounds as complicated as it looks. Yeah. But similar to Severance, I developed a love for Severance, but the first 2 episodes, I had to learn the world. I had to understand the rules, and you had to get into it. And it's giving me that same vibe of, okay, I have to understand everything that's happening in this world to really understand the nuance and appreciate it. So I'm hoping that once we get to like episode 3 and 4, we're in the world where we're feeling it. I do understand why she was nominated. She has to have a wide range of emotions. She is acting in there. But like, I can't yet sit here and say, oh, I love it or I hate it. I don't know yet. We're watching it. We're going to see. But that's Pluribus on Apple TV. That's so far what I'm watching. And I also just finished a really cool show called Soulmates on Netflix.
Soulmates?
Soulmates. So what I liked about this show is it's kind of giving Black Mirror anthology where each episode is a standalone. So the tie-in is if there's a test basically that you can take that tells you exactly who your soulmate is, like the person in the world that's made for you, and every episode is geared around that. So you have certain episodes where it's like a married couple who are happily married, they go off and sneak and take that test. You got another episode where Somebody's polyamorous. How does that work? You got another episode where you find that your soulmate's a serial killer. How does that work? And I just like that there's that tie of that soulmate test, and each episode kind of is a standalone episode. A lot of great characters in that, a lot of great storytelling. And it was an easy, like, limited series, like, quick.
Like who's in it? Do you know the actors? Or
One of them is Sarah Snook. I know she's in that first episode with Reggae. He played Bob Marley. Reggae.
Oh yeah, that guy. Why you call him Reggae? Reggae Jones. Reggae Jackson.
What is his name? Like that's the one that comes to mind.
Well, you have to say his name now because people gonna be running around calling him Reggae Jones.
I really want
and I don't want that for him.
No, it is.
And I certainly don't want that.
It's not reggae. It's a whole different person. Okay,
I don't want it to be my fault.
Tinsley Benadir. You got Sarah Snook. Several other actors, but that was.
So wait a minute. So was Kingsley Benadir? That's the name, right?
Tinsley Benadir is actually the one to play Bob Marley.
And that's not the guy on Soulmates?
Another light-skinned, very attractive male.
Is his name Reggae?
Two different actors.
What's his name?
Which one? The one from Bridgerton or the one from One Love? I'm getting my.
Those are two different
guys. Those are two different guys.
And I just want to say, listen, I need to put these things out there to the two young men. I've seen them both. I know that they are both incredibly talented actors. Right. I just want to say that. I saw One Love and I really enjoyed that. I don't watch Bridgerton, but I know that the other guy is on there. And I'm just saying, if one of them stabs somebody and runs down the street, I hope the other one doesn't come around the corner.
Like, listen, I don't think
because he's going to jail.
I'm black. Don't come at me. I don't think y'all look the same, but y'all two kind of y'all favorite.
But when I was younger, I also thought Al Pacino and Dustin Hoffman looked quite a bit alike. And some people still can't tell the difference between Mark Wahlberg and Matt Damon. I'm just saying it happens.
Yeah.
So I don't want Ben
Kingsley Adair and
Ben Kingsley Adair, and please tell me the other guy's name.
Reggae Jean Page.
Oh, Jean. What is it? Renee?
I thought it's reggae. It's spelled R-E-G.
It can't be.
It's spelled R-E-G''E, and my mother says that it's pronounced reggae. Now, I said it doesn't sound right.
That can't be
right. Reggae?
His name cannot.
How do you pronounce this guy's name?
I gotta look this man's name up because ask.
Pronunciation.
Where is he? I'm on
the Reggae Jean Page. No, it sounds like the musical genre reggae. Reggae Jean Page. You just got to put a little reggae on it. Reggae. Now it sounds right.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Reggae.
Anyway, he wasn't in that show at all. He wasn't in it at all. But Ben Kingsley Adair is one of the people that were in it. So yeah, that's what I'm watching.
I'm looking it up on the Google, and Google says Reggae Jean Page's name is pronounced Reggae.
Reggae.
Like the music genre reggae, which is not pronounced reggae. It is pronounced reggae, so that is wrong.
Exactly.
Jean.
So which is
Reggae Jean Page. I'm gonna have a good time. Reggae Jean Page and Ben Kingsley Adair.
If I ever run into him, I don't call him reggae, and I'm wrong.
If you ever run into him, you ain't even gonna be able to talk. You're just gonna be like,
I don't even to talk. So with that, we've been at this about an hour plus.
I don't know where you're gonna bump into Reggae Jean Page, but I guarantee you, if that happens, there'll be a moment of stunned silence.
No, I bumped into Michael B. Jordan, and I was stunned by his beauty. I was stunned to silence. I'm not even gonna lie. And he was so nice, but I couldn't even form words. It was like, wow. It was ridiculous. But I'm older and wiser now. I can I can have a conversation.
you can like,
Do it.
but it's messed up. Like if you just turn around and somebody's there, it's like that
That's
happened
what
to
it
me with
was. You're
that
not
happened to me with Tyra
prepared.
Banks one time. I was someplace I
Tyra
don't even know
Banks.
where I was. Tyra Banks. I was at something, you know, and you mind your own business. You turn around and Tyra Banks is standing there. It's like that guy.
Is she taller than you?
No,
Okay. All right. On that note,
I'm a tall man.
okay. Okay. He's a tall man, y'all. So this was fun. We need to do this again. So
We
we'll
will do this
be
again.
back next week. And we just want to thank you guys for joining us for our first episode, very first episode of In the Room. We're culture
Yeah, yeah.
Hollywood. And, join us next time. We'll be saving you a seat. Catch us on.
Yeah, so and you know, as we go along, you know, we'll be doing some things. We'll expand it. We'll be getting our, you know, clips out, and look for. Is there some place they can look for you? You want them to, you know, check out your hairstyles and reviews and whatever else you're doing someplace. Yeah, whatever you're doing out in the world. I mean, feel free. This is
can
a
check me
platform. This
out
is a
at the Elisa Murray on Instagram. You can check out our podcast at In the Room Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and not Twitter yet, but TikTok and
yeah.
YouTube. And is there some place you want them to find you, or you want to stay aloof?
Well, right now, I'm going to be at Radio Free Ali on Substack. I'm writing some stuff over there, and I think I'm Radio Free Ali at TikTok, but I don't know how often I will post anything there. And I'm on, you know, I'm on some other stuff. Y'all can find me.
Yeah, and I'm also at Acting is Elisa on TikTok, where I do the majority of my posting there as well. So we'll make
Yeah.
sure that you see all that stuff, and catch us on Spotify and wherever else you listen to podcasts. And it was so good to welcome you in the room. Until next time.
One down, so many to go.
So many to go. All right, Ali. Until next time.